Hey everyone, and welcome to Screams After Midnight TV edition. I'm Peter, that is Tim, and we talk about Tales from the Crypt on this show right now. We are working our way through it, season 3. This is going to be episode 9 of season 3. Tim's already thrown me off. This is called Undertaking.
I just love your wonderful description. We talk about Tales from the Crypt on this show right now.
Well,
Great.
this episode is called Undertaking Parlor. Full spoilers for the episode, as always. And this stars John Glover, which is pretty cool. He's a good actor. And this is about 4 kids who sneak into the Undertaker parlor late at night and basically witness him being kind of weird with one of the bodies, but then uncover a plot that involves him working with a pharmacist to kill people early so he can get more money and do more undertaking jobs. And that's kind of the plot. And the kids seek out to try and prove that he's up to this, so they can get him caught. So Tim, what did you think of Undertaking Parlor?
I actually like this one too. So 2 in a row that I quite enjoyed. I didn't like this one as much as the one last week, but I thought it was fun. It was definitely a little more comedic. I liked that it was kid focused. I feel like we don't get a ton of kid focused ones.
Do you know what I think's funny? Having it, obviously the kids are swearing in this, but otherwise having it be kid focused reminds me of something like Are You Afraid of the Dark, or something like that, like one of the more kid focused horror shows. But
yeah,
I get you.
I kind of like that, almost like Goonies-esque vibe. Like I like when it's focused on kids, but they're kind of dicks, like they're swearing and giving each other shit.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But the story, I thought was fun and interesting, and
Joe was funny actually. I actually thought for the first, because it was probably a good first half, maybe just over half of it, is them all hiding in their, because they sneak out of the Undertaking parlor, and basically the mortician comes in, John Glover's character, and they all hide, and they spend a good 10 minutes of the episode all hidden in this room while he's doing stuff, and they're watching. And I almost thought the entire thing was going to be in this one room on this night, and it ended up not being that. But I was okay with that idea. I thought it was fun having them all hiding and reacting to all the weird stuff that was going on. It's an old joke where undertakers don't mind eating around the dead bodies, and it's kind of weird to everyone else. But he's eating slices of pizza, he's drinking his Pepsi, he's listening to music.
There's one really funny shot where he opens the can of Pepsi and takes a drink, and they just cut to one kid's reaction that was but which I think it was just supposed to be oh, he's being so cavalier around this dead body, but it kind of seemed to me like he's drinking Pepsi.
He prefers Coke, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
The kid prefers Coke, and he's appalled that he's drinking Pepsi. So we find out that he's got this deal with the pharmacist, who is giving out the wrong medication to sort of kill people quicker, so that he has more business and he gets a cut of the money, and that's kind of set up. But of course, it's only one of the kids who hears this, because the rest of the kids all get a chance to escape, but the one kid's left behind, and he hears this part of it, the illegal plot. And he's telling the other kids the next day, but they find out that I'll call him the director kid, the one with the camera. His dad dies, and they find out it's because it's this ruse, it's this asthma medication that he heard about. So they set about trying to find it, and it actually kind of turns into a found footage movie from this point on, because they all have their own cameras. How 4 kids all have access to 4 cameras? I don't know, but they do.
Well, they set up the one kid as being a rich kid, and so that's why he has it. But then it was weird when at the end everyone came out with cameras.
Maybe they're all the rich kids' cameras. Maybe he just has an entire rack of these big video cameras. Just keep in mind it's 1991, 1992 at this point. So they're expensive items.
Yeah, and it was kind of cool. We kind of languish, found footage stuff nowadays, but it's interesting to see a very early example of it back here.
Well, it helps that it doesn't come into play until it's part of the plot, and then it kicks in. And it's they go to the pharmacist and they're trying to figure out who it was, because the kid never seen the guy's face, so they only know that he's got 6 snakeskin shoes. And they're trying to so one of the kids goes in to see a porn magazine and tries to see so the pharmacists that are working will come out from behind the counter, and they see their feet, and they're oh, it's not them. And then the owner of the store comes up behind them, and it turns out to be him, obviously, Mr. Grundy. But what I thought was weird and funny about this scene here
Born on a Monday.
Mr. Grundy, born on a Monday, died on a Sunday, Tuesday. I can't remember the whole rhyme. But he says something really weird. He's like, "Oh, why have you got a camera pointed at my store, young children, when there's plenty of innocent, young, pretty girls out here to film?" I thought, that's a bit weird thing to say to a bunch of kids. Yeah, go and stalk and harass, innocent, strange girls rather than, I don't know, do something proper with your camera. Jesus, what a weird thing to say. Hold out a touch, man.
Especially coming from like an old man being like, yeah, a lot of young pretty girls on the street.
I know, it's proper creepy. But he's also helping kill people in his spare time, so I mean, I guess he's...
he doesn't have the best reputation.
Exactly. So the kids break back into the Undertaker's place, and they find these invoices that show that he's screwing the pharmacist out of money. So they leak that to him, and he comes over. They have a bit of a standoff, and the mortician kills the pharmacist. He bangs him in the head with a hammer, and then pours like acid into his mouth, and we see him bubbling, and there's like green liquid coming out. Oh, it's pretty disturbing, but it's wonderful. And the great thing is, so the kids all jump out, and like he finally sees them all, and like they all have cameras. All 4 kids have got cameras pointing at him, and he's got a knife. He's like, give me the tapes, you meddling kids," and he's doing all this.
Now, at this point, I thought, okay, so they got a plan. They're going to videotape this guy and then, give it to the police or something. But then once I wonder if they never actually got that far in the plan, because I'm like all just jumping out. Like, why would you do this?
Yeah. And earlier on in the episode, they set up this vacuum that sucks out like the excess liquids and stuff from the bodies. And one of the kids has that on his hand. He's sort of like holding that up as a defense. And the other kids, they tumble the cadaver that's behind them, the librarian that we hear about. Because when they first go in at the start, it's the librarian's dead body that he's working on. And they tumble her into him, and he goes into the vacuum. And apparently the hose on this vacuum is sharp enough to penetrate his stomach. Because it goes into his body and starts sucking out his innards. And we see it in the little dome in the vacuum. It's like all this blood and stuff. And then it's going into the sink, and it's all going down the drain. And
to be fair, that might make sense if it is a mortician tool that maybe needs to pierce bodies or something.
Sure, okay.
I'm not sure.
I would assume you'd cut the body first and then you'd put it in. But okay, that's maybe a fair point. Maybe it is designed to actually stab.
Morticians, reach out to us. We want to
know. Yes. But then again,
send us pics.
To be fair, this was like 25 plus years ago. Maybe the system's changed. Maybe there's better devices now. There's better tools.
Yeah, I'm sure you millennials probably have some gut-sucking app on your iPads. And
why are you calling me a millennial for the second week in a row? Again, it's 3 years old. And do you know what this funny thing is a little bit behind the curtain. We're recording this the same day as we recorded the last one. We're wearing the same shirts, just in case you didn't notice. Which is why, because we usually never refer to things we said in the last episode, but Tim's done it 3 times, so I feel like we have to acknowledge it and just be honest that we recorded both on the same day. Oh, God damn it, Tim. You can't just pretend that it's a new week. We had them all fooled. No one was suspecting a thing.
It's called a callback, and people love them.
Yeah, but we never did that before. It's really obvious. Oh. And the reason why we never did it before is because you never remember what you said last week to call back to it.
To be fair, that is true.
Yes. The reason why we're recording 2 this week is because Tim's going to be missing for 2 weeks of recording, so we're recording a couple of doubles back to back so that you never have to go a week without an episode. That's the reason for this.
You make it sound ominous, like I'm just gonna disappear, like no one will know.
Okay, you're going back home to visit your family. It's not that mysterious, but the point is you're missing for a couple of recording sessions, so we have to bank a couple in advance. Is the thing. Oh my God!
Don't worry, I'll still make fun of you on Twitter while I'm at home.
I'm sure you will. I'm looking forward to it. Best thing ever. So. I'm not sure how it factored into the kids' plans that they actually. I mean, the film this murder, he kills the pharmacist and all that. It's all fine. I'm not sure they were planning on filming their own murder of him because Because that's what this is. This
true.
vacuum sucking out all of his innards. It's killing him,
Yeah.
and they've got it on camera. And basically, as they do this, they're basically giving they're flipping the bird, and they're like, "Ha, screw you, old man, we got you." That's from a dad asshole, because the one
Yeah.
kid's dad died. And then we end on a kind of moment where the corpse of the librarian looks like she's smelling. Because actually, we've got to mention that when he comes in at the start, when the Undertaker comes in, he bashes her in the face with a hammer just because he's having fun. He's like, I'm having
Yeah.
fun. He's playing with his corpse before he does his work, basically.
He likes his job.
Yeah, he bashes on the face with a hammer, and then it all goes like smushed in, like our nose is like all in, and then he kind of like molds it and fixes it. It's not perfect again, but he kind of like props it back up with his fingers. But yeah, at the end of the episode, it's like she looks like she's smiling, and she's got like a sort of almost smile on her face. It's
Which is just like so crazy. I kind of loved it. I was like, you know what? Why not have a corpse just
yeah,
smiling?
that's just kind of like a sort of more goofy, fun episode. But I had a lot of fun with this one. I have almost no complaints. Like I don't think there's anything that stuck out to me as being
Yeah.
sort of egregious or broke the pacing or anything like that. If anything, I could have done with a few extra minutes, so like just
Oh yeah.
to flesh it out. But I had fun, which is funny because
This
we said all the ones we were kind of like negative about recently were all a bit longer, whereas these last two were a little bit back to the same runtime as normal, which I thought was
Yeah.
funny.
And I actually kind of thought like, these. I mean, you'd have to flesh them out a lot, but I could almost see these as being like, full length movies. Like
I can see it.
this one, I could have seen as like an '80s Stand by Me esque kind of, like PG-13 kids
Yeah,
doing messed up stuff.
Stand By Me meets a little bit of a phantasm, where
Yeah.
the creepy Undertaker's up to no good and they're trying to figure it out. Like, I can see that being a movie. I
And
guess the point is, as much as we complained about some of the episodes being a little bit too long, ultimately it comes down to the ideas not being good enough to carry
yeah.
whereas this idea was good enough that you could make a whole movie out of it potentially.
Yeah.
So, but
And
yeah,
I thought there was actually some good tension, like the first time that they're in
when they're all
the
hiding.
yeah, I actually got like a little nervous, when he's going towards the one kid is in the coffin, so you're like, oh no, what's gonna happen? And then the other kid makes a noise, and then he starts going towards him, and it's kind of like, ooh, it's a little
Yeah,
tense.
I guess the only complaint and it's not really a complaint, but it's just more of an observation, is that it's very pantomime because the Undertaker doesn't really have a reason to expect that there is some sort of intruder, but yet he's still creeping towards the curtain as if as if he's like a villain in a story. He's sort of like
Also,
you know
yeah.
the
And then
slow suspense of getting close to it.
Yeah, also I think at this time he has music blaring. He's humming to himself. The fact that he would have heard like, a slight, whatever noise in the coffin or something is like a little bit of a stretch, but
Yeah, it made me want pizza. I mean, I know he's eating it with a corpse, but like it doesn't really matter. I
Yeah.
guess I'm used to iZombie. She's constantly eating like brains and that, but she always makes it into a proper food. Like she always makes a stir fry, or she'll put it in a burger or something, and it
Yeah.
always looks really nice, which is annoying because there's brains in it.
Yeah. And the only thing that gets me about that is like, I mean, if you're gonna eat it in the same room, fine, but it would be weird if you actually touch the corpse then eat it. I feel like you
Oh
would
yeah,
need like heavy duty hand washing.
I agree. But that's a joke they love to put in these stories because it's not the first time I've seen this. The joke that the mortician's willing to, eat his food. Like I mean, I'm sure I've seen it in a movie before where they've had the plate on top of the corpse and they've been eating off the.
I feel like we watched something like maybe just last year or where like someone's eating Chinese food in a mortuary or something.
Maybe can't remember.
I can't remember what it was, but yeah, no, it's definitely it's something I've seen before.
Yeah, no, it was a solid, fun episode. The kids were funny. It does have that kind of Goonies-esque, like, kids with attitude. Even though it wasn't the 80s anymore, it was the 90s, but, it still has that
Yeah.
kind of feel to it.
Add the one kid like with the leather jacket and stuff is a kid that if you watch like TGIF in the 90s, he was the best friend on like every sitcom. Like Step by Step, Full House, Boy Meets World.
Do you mean the actor, or do you mean just that type of character?
The actor.
The actor, okay, cool. Um,
So it's interesting to see him in a little bit of a darker role.
if you can call it that.
Yeah.
But no, there you go. That's Undertaker's Parlor. That's a pretty good episode. We had 2 in a row. We're good. We're getting good.
Yeah.
So there we
All
go.
uphill from here.
Hopefully.
I'm sure we'll never get a bad episode
We're going
ever
to
again.
crash and burn next episode. I've just got a feeling now. It's funny though, because season 2 had this kind of thing as well, where I feel like a lot of there was a couple of gems in the first half, but it was mostly kind of rough, and then the second half of the season got really good, and it feels like it's doing the same again, and I don't know why that's happening. There's no reason why there should be a pattern, because they're just all standalone episodes, but whatever. Here we go. So that is Undertaking Parallel. Let us know what you thought of this episode of Tales from the Crypt in the comments below. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. It helps us out a lot. You can also help us out by going over to patreon.com/mailedfuzztv. You can see some of the bonuses. Of course, one of the bonuses is that you get these episodes of Tales from the Crypt reviews a week early, so that's pretty cool. Obviously, if you go to the $5 tier, because that one's only $1, the $5 tier, you get to vote on like a bonus Screams After Midnight episode. There's a bunch of goals about us doing more stuff and stuff like that, so head over and see if that tickles your fancy. But otherwise, guys, that is us. Get us on Twitter at mailed_fuzz for channel updates. But thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time.